Hey guys, welcome out to the range. I wanted to show you something that I've gone back and forth about showing because we live in a time where like any level of violence and people just automatically put it down like, no, we can't have violence. Guys, there is such a thing as virtuous violence. Violence has a place in modern day society more than any other time because we are now dealing with people whose job it is to say violence is bad, all violence is bad, unless of course it comes from a group of people that we really want to support. But all violence is bad. Look, okay, we're going to lay that aside for a second. I want to show you something. Fill in the gaps on this for yourself, okay? Please don't make me hold your hand through all of this. If you are in a position where your loved one is being held, that white target is the hostage taker. The black target in front is your loved one. Put whoever it is matters the most to you there. And I want you to understand, you cannot play with this, okay? This is not a game, okay? Understand that at the moment, okay, let me back up a second. The human mind, the brain, is doing a lot of things in the background at all times. When I was a surgical assistant many years ago, I remember we were doing a brain surgery on a guy one time. I don't remember what for, but I remember the guy was awake. The guy was awake. And the doctor was manipulating certain areas and doing certain things. And the patient said, oh, that's interesting. I can smell French fries. Or just different areas where the doctor was manipulating on the brain. It was the coolest thing I had ever seen. And this particular doctor is a doctor who is a surgeon who loves to teach. And if you are a surgical assistant and you're quiet, you will pick up so much knowledge that will make its way into your brain and will be stored in a file cabinet in your mind, and you won't even know it's there until the day that you actually need it. Jump forward 15 years, and I'm now a police officer, and I'm going to training, and we're taught at hostage negotiator school through the FBI, and we're talking about the negotiator is the velvet glove over the iron fist of SWAT. And so you have the NOC, Negotiations Operations Center, and the TOC, NOC, TOC, Tactical Operations Center, Negotiations Operations Center. And because of what happened in Waco, now tactical officers are trained in negotiations, and negotiators are trained in tactical. Not like at an exclusive level, but at a level of understanding so they know how to work with each other. And so when you go to the school, they give you a certain level of understanding of what SWAT operators are doing. And one of the things that was briefly talked about was the fact that the human mind, the conscious portion of the human mind, can really only do one thing well. The brain is always doing stuff in the background. It's running the cardiovascular system. It's running the musculoskeletal system, which is why I'm standing here, which is why my heart is beating, which is why I'm breathing, the respiratory system. It's running the eyes. It's causing me to blink to keep the eyes wet and supple, so on and so forth. But what it's not doing is, it's not running my mouth. If you have a hostage taker and they have a loved one, and you find yourself in a position where you've got this person on target, consider what I'm about to tell you. Give the initial command to release that person, and then wait. Wait, and wait, and wait. And as soon as that person opens her mouth to say something, take the shot. Why? Because that person is holding your loved one. And the second that they open their mouth to say something, they've now split their attention. Their brain is no longer doing this, it's now doing this. Meaning, these are portions of the brain. Both portions of the brain. Okay. Right now, someone's going to get in the comment section and say, there are more than two portions. Just work with me here. I have two hands. The brain is paying attention to you. You're the threat because you're pointing a gun at him. The second that you issue command, that brain has to consider what it is that you said. And the moment that person opens their mouth to say something, the brain is no longer locked on you. Now it's thinking about running the mouth. And the second you split their attention, you might buy yourself the opportunity to take the shot. Please don't go nuts in the comment section. I'm just giving you something to think about. Please don't lose it. This particular drill can be practice by going to the very edge. See how violently that plate moved? I'm going to shoot on the inside now. I went right past it. You see how lazy that was? When you do this, oh nice, I actually shot the hostage. Shoot the hostage sometimes. Go for the good shot if you need to. When you're practicing this, actually, you know, here's a great example, and I'll leave you with this. When I was a cop many years ago, when we were training on felony traffic stops, there was usually an officer on the PA of his car, or a bullhorn, and that officer's job was to do all the talking. Then there was an officer or two on guns, and then there was an officer with handcuffs pre-staged. One that way, one this way. There's more to that, and I'm not going to say it on camera, but those of you who are cops who've been trained this way understand what I'm talking about. So what you have is an officer whose job it is to do nothing but talk, and he's way back here. Then you have officers on the sides with firearms, and some agencies do 2 officers here, or 2 officers here, or officers doing this, which can be dicey. You don't want crossfire, which is why, you know, sometimes you do left or right, but if you know what you're doing, you can do it this way. And then you have officers who are just in front, whose job it is to capture. Oh, I'm sorry, officer or officers whose job it is to capture. And there's a lot of walk back to the sound of my voice, walk back to the sound of my voice, turn away from me, down on the ground, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot more to this. I'm going to stop talking because I'm not giving some stuff away. But the point is, law enforcement understands. You have an officer whose job it is to talk, and another officer or two whose job it is to stand with weaponry, and another officer's job to be holding handcuffs ready to go hands-on. They've taken one task and they've split it into 3, sometimes 4 people, because they know that the brain can only really do one thing really, really well. It can't do multiple things well, and you don't even want to settle for decent. So this is just something for you to consider. This is not ironclad truth. This is not what you absolutely need to do. This is something for you to consider. If that bad guy's holding a loved one and you know you only have one opportunity to free them, wait, wait, wait. You take that shot when you absolutely know you have the moment of surprise on your side. As always, thank you so much for your sling purchases and for your donations to keep this channel independent. As always, God bless you all. Get those guns out and practice. Have a good one.